I think we're blessed because we live in Tokyo, and so Tokyo is really the city of everything. So we can
Yeah.
pretty much do anything we want. If we lived in a more rural area of Japan, our options would be a lot more limited. Like one thing that I think about in particular is, one of the things that I love to do in Japan or in Tokyo is kind of what I was doing in Seattle too, which is visit a bunch of different coffee shops and stuff. And Tokyo's coffee culture is really refined. They have a lot of great coffee shops with some amazing coffee. And when I went to Seattle, Seattle was the first time place I ever had coffee that didn't taste like bitter burnt dirt. And it actually had like sweetness, or it had some like
Yeah.
sourness or acidity to it. But in Tokyo, you have so many people, not just like with espresso stuff, like third wave coffee stuff. Like you have these old style coffee bars where you'll have the servers in like white and black, like the male servers will have black vests on top of white shirts and white collared shirts and stuff with ties, and they'll do pour over for you where they'll grind the coffee and put it in, then they'll hand pour it, and it's really like old fashioned, old style kind of. But those kinds of coffee shops are also really popular in Japan too, so I like to visit those places because it's kind of like a coffee culture that I don't really get to experience anywhere else. But
Yeah.
I'm a coffee nerd, so that's me, you know.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm even, and this is embarrassing because I'm the one who's from Seattle, but yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not even remotely close to on the same level as you when it comes to coffee.
Dude, yeah,
But
dude. I just bought a new espresso machine that I'm taking back with me to Japan, man. I'll
oh,
show it
is
to
it
you
the one you've
later.
been talking about?
Yeah, yeah, the really
Oh
expensive
man.
one. So
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
show it to
yeah.
you later. Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely want to try that. I probably
yeah,
won't be able to tell the difference. I'll be like, yeah,
yeah,
man, it's totally good. It tastes different.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
But
going back
mhm.
to the coffee thing, a lot of people's hobbies, like if you'll talk to them here, is just straight up going to different cafes.
Oh, yeah, right.
Uh, Small cafes here are really, really comfortable places to go
Yeah.
and just kind of do whatever, work on the computer,
Mhm.
or just relax and enjoy coffee. But usually they're really, really small areas, but you can see them everywhere here.
Mhm.
I was really surprised about that when I moved here because, you think like, oh, we're in Asia, and I maybe this is just my Western bias showing, but
Mhm.
I don't think of coffee when I think of Japan or Asia. You
Mhm.
think of tea, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
When I'm thinking of like drinks in Japan, I'm thinking of like matcha tea, for
Mhm.
example. So coming here and seeing coffee and going, whoa, okay, that this is unexpected.
Mhm.
But it's really exploded.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so for me, before I was into coffee, I was into tea. Like when I lived in Seattle near my house, there was a tea shop that had about 150 types and blends of tea. And I thought,
Mm.
this is so crazy. It's the same tea leaf. Why are there so many kinds? So I was excited trying all the different kinds. And like my personal favorite tea is actually a Wu Yi oolong, black oolong tea. I can tell we're talking more about that later. But coming to Japan, I was like, oh man, I'm going to Japan. In Seattle, if they had this much tea, I can't wait to see all the tea that they have in
Yeah,
Tokyo. And they don't. It's like you'll have a couple of green tea, Japanese green tea shops, but other than that, there's no like tea. And then you have some Western tea shops where you can get
yeah,
black tea, but
yeah,
some Asian tea, you can't really get that, you know?
yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah, it's really surprising. It really like I hear what is it? Is it Kyoto that
Hmm.
has a lot more traditional teas?
Yeah. Kyoto. Yeah. So Uji, which is that Kyoto or is that Nara? It's either southern Kyoto or
I
northern
think
Nara is
you know what?
Uji.
I think it might be Nara.
Okay.
Now that I think
Okay.
about it, maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong.
Well, the region's called Uji.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's over there.
but yeah, it's so I guess if you kind of like go into like more traditional areas in
Hmm.
Japan, maybe you can find like a lot more tea varieties. But yeah, man, I completely agree. It was like really weird for me to see coffee was such a thing. Um,
Hmm.
but like you see like the typical Starbucks stuff, like
Hmm.
coming from Seattle.
Yeah.
So like every time I'd visit Japan, people would be in the Starbucks. But recently, I don't see as many Starbucks as I used to.
In Tokyo?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You see a lot more, like a lot more variety. Like I'm seeing a
Yeah.
ton of Tollies. They have, I don't know if this is unique to Japan, but they have that Excelsior Cafe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there's a
That's a
whole bunch
Japanese
of just
brand, I
like,
think.
yeah, they have a whole bunch of just like small cafes that are just local
Yeah.
places. And um, at least in Seattle, like if you
Hmm.
go there, I mean, you can find like local places, of course, but I mean, everywhere has a Starbucks.
Hmm. Yeah. That's
So
for
it's
sure.
it's really unique seeing or interesting seeing all these like different places.
Hmm.